Welcome, Wastelanders and Adventurers, to the PIPCAST 3000, episode 58. I'm Caedo Genesis, and this is a gaming and Fallout-oriented podcast where we talk about those things, and sometimes have news stories and a dedicated topic about Fallout-ish things. I'm joined by my co-hosts, BADCompanySarge.
Howdy.
And Jared of Jared Gaming.
G'day.
And we have just a few things to talk about. It's been kind of a slow news time a little bit. Delays and other things that we question happening in gaming. But before we get to those things, we have a tip of the day and a comment of the cast. Isn't that right, fellas?
It is indeed.
we kind of combined our powers with the tip of the day, so I think one of you should take this and run with it.
Okay. Well, just to put it simply, people are dumb with money.
I agree. No, we don't need to go any further. Sorted. Perfect.
With money, to preface that. And if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And this will make more sense maybe
Never.
later? Maybe
Nope.
never?
Nope.
I took that news story out. So,
Okay, never mind. It will not make sense. Just go believe what we say at face value. Because
Be smart with your
we are
cash. Never invest
YouTubers.
more than you can afford to lose. Don't go for high-risk funds. All of that kind of stuff. And newer kind of investment portfolios tend to be more volatile, so don't go for them unless you've got a lot of money you can burn freely without suffering consequence.
Yes, very well said, Sarge.
yes, that.
It's the same mentality of pre-pandemic, walking into a casino with only a specific amount in your pocket and leaving the rest, or leaving your card in your vehicle or at home. It's limiting yourself, especially if you're susceptible to anything chance related or gambling related. Fairly good thing. Remember our last topic where we talked about things that are annoying in Fallout?
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun discussion. I
Yeah.
really liked complaining about Fallout. And I don't get to do it enough. I don't get to do it very often. I know, Sarge, you don't complain at all about
No.
Fallout.
No.
But we had a comment of the cast that didn't really go over much besides bashing Sarge, which
Yeah.
he loves so much.
Please, just do it all the time. Everyone in the comments, just give me your best insult. I can take them. I want them. I need them.
Timothy Duffy commented on the last episode, "How dare you, Bad Company Sarge? You should be ashamed of yourself for offering insights into games that address both mechanics and story in a thoughtful way. Shame on you." And then, seriously, I love your take on these and the way you present it. So, Timothy,
Could have been
being
harsher.
funny. Yeah, could have been a little
A few
harsher.
cracks
But
of a whip in there I would have preferred, but I'll take it.
Just teasing you with that ridicule. Sorry.
yeah, but thank you, Timothy. If you want to be a comment of the cast, you can just leave a comment, and we might pick it for the next episode. Did I mention that it's the schedule? Sundays, 10 a.m. Pacific, is when the podcast goes up. So
Every other week.
every other week. So be here, and we're also doing the Borderlands 2 stuff on Sarge's channel still.
Yep.
So-
Every week for probably just a few more weeks, to be fair.
Yeah, and then we'll move on to another game, right?
Yeah. We got a couple of other games we've already decided to move on to.
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't even played the the one that we decided on. Just installed it and it's just there. Whoa. Okay, so we can move on to the news. Our topic's going to be alternatives to boss fights, so you can look forward to that or just skip to it, whichever. We have chapter points. But yeah, so first thing. What's the first thing, Jared? Since you're the biggest fan here.
Oh, yes. I imagine we were talking about Game of the Year, Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
good news for those who have been waiting for further updates and fixes. Patch 1.2 has officially hit, I believe, everything, if I am reading this correctly. PC consoles.
Is it out now?
Yeah.
I believe so. I remember updating it recently, at least on PC. I don't know about
it's out.
consoles. So it sounds like it is, but yeah, it looks like it is a ton of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Not surprised, because there's a ton of stuff that needs fixing. But I mean, you can literally just scroll down the list of things that are fixed, and it takes a good 30 seconds to get to the end.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
literally hundreds of fixes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how long these patch notes are. Like, I started reading through them, looked at the scroll bar, and was like, "Oh wow, there's too many. There's just too many."
Yep. But I mean, that's good. I mean, it's good that they're doing everything that they can to fix this game.
It's good providing these fixes actually work. Having covered Fallout 76 for so long, I know that patch notes can come out and things that they say are fixed won't actually always be fixed.
It wouldn't surprise me if that there are following hot fixes to fix these fixes.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that, because I think that happened in the last big patch.
Oh, yep.
It landed, and then there was still stuff, and then a hot fix comes along the way to polish up those bits. But yeah.
291 results of a word fix on the patch notes.
Wow. Oh yeah, because every entry
Nearly
includes
every
the word
entry starts with the word fix.
Yep, I noticed that too when I was reading it. It's like they are very clearly trying to make it clear and obvious that these things are fixed by using the word fixed in every bullet point almost.
Yep.
It's kind of funny, really.
It is. Jeez, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
But I think that was the second big patch that was planned for Cyberpunk 27 as far as this year is concerned. I think, unless they're deviated from their roadmap that they put out, I think it was the last patch, this patch, and then maybe we can look forward to DLC now. Maybe.
I feel like there's gonna need to be another big patch.
I'm sure. Like I said, they're probably making it up as they go at this point. But yeah, at least they're following through with their pledge to keep on trucking, fixing it up and stuff. I have to commend them for that.
You don't have to.
No, you're right. It's not like they're paying me. It's not like anyone's holding a gun to my head or anything. But
at least, and if you want to pay us,
CD Projekt Red. I'm sure they're listening. If you want to throw money at us, money sticks to us pretty good.
Yeah, I saw those Witcher samurai statues, and those look pretty sick. If you want to send me a statue.
I got room for one of those somewhere, I'm sure. Yep, I'll take that.
It'd look cool in my living room that I don't use.
But yeah, that's not the only big news, though, for Cyberpunk 2077, apparently.
No, I forgot to link this to you, Jared. I should have asked you to watch this, too. Their CD Projekt Group strategy update. Yeah, go ahead with the thing.
Oh, I was segueing in for someone else to take.
Oh, okay. Well, here I am. I'm segging my way through. Yeah, okay, so CD Projekt put up, it was CD Projekt, not CD Projekt Red, put up their group strategy update, which is essentially the gosh dang corpos stating their core values and their pillars and their plans strictly for the sake of informing investors. That's basically all this video is. It's extremely boring. Sarge and I were commenting to each other while we were watching it.
I made it 2 minutes through, maybe. It was so bad.
I watched the whole thing, but it was at 1.25 speed.
I couldn't. I got away from that world for a good reason. I'm not going back. You can't make me. You can't make me, Caedo.
So the things that I found particularly interesting, I'm not gonna say horrible or great, particularly interesting was that names were not shown for a lot of the staffers and executives that were shown on screen, probably to protect them, because angry internet people get very angry, which I understand. But also, I looked through a lot of the things they were planning on doing or working towards doing, and using their what do you call it, buzzword lingo, market speak to make it sound like they're, Sarge described it to me as like a moving picture PowerPoint presentation or something like that.
Just a PowerPoint that's been converted into a video.
Basically, this is what a boardroom. This should have happened in a boardroom, and he should have been pointing at a presentation while I was doing this. But when the marketing guy came on, he talked about the importance of online integration into all of their properties, including The Witcher, which kind of made me mildly concerned.
What does that mean exactly, though? Online properties?
They were being extremely vague on purpose. So
the biggest problem with boardroom talk is that you can listen for like 5 hours straight and get like 2 pieces of basic information.
Yeah,
it's worse than legalese.
I didn't even say what lingo they were using as their main buzzword, but it was agile and agility. We're taking an agile approach. We're going at this with agility, kind of thing. It's just the most generalized nonsense you will see all day, if anybody feels like watching it.
I have a genuine hatred for like stupid language which doesn't benefit the conversation or convey information in any meaningful way, and is simply put there to obscure the actual purpose and make things more vague. It's
made to think like, or leave it up even to interpretation as to what it actually means, but only to a degree to where it's believable, but not necessarily seeing the same vision. So literally nothing's happening. So I did like seeing them talk about the importance of mental health, but again, like they can talk a big game all they want.
Yeah.
It could just be like feeding information that people want to hear.
Yeah, it's like when YouTube is like, oh, we care so much about our creators. Hey, why are all your videos in the red? Let's throw red arrows at you all the time and tell you that you suck. Oh my god, our creator health matters so much to us.
That's called PR.
Face has been saved. Okay. I don't think there was anything else that came to mind really, besides my concern with online capabilities. Remember that CD Projekt is also the founders, or are also the founders of GOG.com, which is popularized.
Which is a site that now sends me so many spam emails every single day that I'm about to block them.
They do that to me too.
Yeah.
They are popularized. They popularized the idea of non-DRM games, which is great. Which means like these games that they provide require no online capabilities whatsoever. Can be ran from your desktop or from their launcher, and I'm hoping that never changes, because that's like their main selling point that they have over other launchers. But what worried me was integrating their GOG Galaxy platform into other games similar to Steam, where it has an overlay and stuff like that, and also maybe taking the extra step, because they are also a development house, that they're going to add marketplaces or something like that to their games. I hate that it's not too much of a stretch to say that out loud.
Considering it's kind of the norm these days, even though that sort of thing gets so much hate and backlash, companies and whatnot continue to implement it.
It makes the money.
Yeah.
The money is literally there.
So much money.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amounts of money.
We also got to be aware that we're not the people that are spending ridiculous amounts of money on these microtransactions are like targets by these corporations. Like they know that some of these people are whales and less informed about the dangers of these kinds of microtransactions, or aren't as invested in the issues with corporate greed that a lot of commentators, myself included, have with it. So whatever.
My biggest problem with like microtransactions, not to deviate from the topic, but just like at the ease of which they can be accessed, and I think that's another strategy that they use, is to take advantage of like young children who can just press a button to purchase the $1,000 worth of shiny bucks for their stupid avatar.
We could sorry, keep talking.
That was pretty much that was my only thing. It's like that seems to be like they market to people that are willing to spend big money, but I feel like they're also where they might not admit it, they are probably marketing, or at least strategizing, to get people who don't know any better to spend, because I know you got to imagine how much money you hear about stories all the time about kids spending $1,000 or whatever.
It's predatory, 100%.
Yeah. That's all. I was just
it's taking advantage of the weakness.
Yeah. Whether it's known or unknown.
Who can we convince to let go of their money? And as long as we make it sound good or look good, like they'll spend hundreds of dollars.
And you can't get any refunds on that stuff.
No,
you know,
you'll have to go directly to a class action lawsuit.
it's almost like they know that people will accidentally buy stuff, and they're like, sorry, you already spent your money. It now belongs to us. You want it back? Oh, something we can do.
The story that came to mind was a class action lawsuit against Epic and Fortnite because this lady's kid spent like $1,000 in a day or over $1,000 in a day. But that's also like part of the problem, which is taking advantage of the ignorance of both parents, and like the kid was probably just trying to be clever, maybe lying about not knowing. I don't know how old this kid is, but generally
27.
If I
They're sweating them right now.
I don't know what makes that funnier, Sarge, that it could be true or that would have been me kind of thing.
Oh.
If I didn't go to trade school. I don't know, man. But anyway, it's bad. Microtransactions bad. Yeah. Marketplaces are dumb, stupid. I'm losing my train of thought. Those gosh dang corpos, man.
Yep.
Speaking of corpos, right, Sarge?
You're gonna have to take this segue because I don't know where you're going with it.
Making spin-offs of a game in a different medium.
Borderlands.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's where you're trying to go with this.
Yes. Borderlands. I think it's Borderlands movie though, not Borderlands 3, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, movies are cool sometimes.
Yeah. I've watched some great movies recently.
Oh, what'd you watch?
Once a Gangster. It is an amazing movie.
Once a Gangster.
Once a Gangster. It's a comedy, but it's set like within the triad, and it's beautiful. It's the funniest movie I've watched in years.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's very much not a laugh track kind of style comedy either.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
The jokes are funny because they're kind of ridiculous and are inherently funny. The movie never gets you to be like, hey, stop and laugh, please. It's just like, yeah, we're just going to keep going and doing our thing. If you want to laugh at it, that's fine. If not, just enjoy people fighting. Brilliant.
That's good. So, you'd say probably less slapstick than...
I mean, Once a Gangster is a movie that was kind of stupid and done really well. It had a point where everyone started singing, and it fit perfectly. And you know what? Whoever directed Once a Gangster, I'm afraid I don't know who it was, should be the person in charge of a Borderlands movie instead, because Eli Roth, I'm sorry, but I do not trust you.
What? But he has such a great track record of making video game adaptation movies, right?
Sure.
He doesn't have...
I'm double checking his IMDb to remember if
Jared looks at camera.
Yep. I look at camera in the style of The Office. Give a Jim face. As far as I know, he's mostly known for like horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Inglourious Bastards, I've actually seen that one.
That is a good movie.
Good? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also Tarantino.
Yeah.
So he's not.
Eli Roth was in it. Yeah, he was in it, but I don't.
Wait, he was in it? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
he was
all
one
right,
of the
mind.
guys.
Look at his face.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Got no problem with it as an actor, but
He got thanks in Inglourious Bastards. That was his role. Never mind.
Yeah.
Producer for Grindhouse, Hostel, and Cabin Fever.
yeah.
I've seen none of those.
I haven't either.
I'm familiar with them, but
I think it's because they're not my genre.
I mean, he has directed The House with a Clock in Its Walls, Death Wish, Knock Knock, The Green Inferno, a short, Hostel Part 2, another short, a fake trailer, a Hostel, another short, and Cabin Fever.
Yep.
I feel like he got his, I think it was Cabin Fever and then Hostel, which kind of put him on the horror genre map. I've seen none of them, so I can't tell you if they're good
I've watched
or not.
Death Wish, which is like his most recent thing other than The House with a Clock on Its Walls. And Death Wish was decent. It wasn't great, and it was a remake, but it was okay. But like none of the stuff he's done really correlates that much to a Borderlands movie.
Yeah, it's a very specific humor, Borderlands, and I just, like you said, I don't see that as something that he... Who knows? I mean, I don't want to typecast him, so to speak, into only that genre of movies and that style of movies. Maybe he's got talents that we don't know about, you know?
Yeah.
It's like half the cast choices for the movie. You never know. They might be good for those roles.
We have now got a plot synopsis of the movie, though.
Yeah, we do.
With
You want to read it?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip over the cast at every point or else it's gonna get weird. But
Yeah.
here it is. Lilith, an infamous outlaw with a mysterious past, reluctantly returns to her home planet of Pandora to find the missing daughter of the universe's most powerful SOB, Atlas. Lilith forms an alliance with an unexpected team. Roland, a former elite mercenary, now desperate for redemption. Tiny Tina, a feral preteen demolitionist. Krieg, Tina's muscle-bound, rhetorically challenged protector. Tanis, the scientist with a tenuous grip on sanity. And Claptrap, a persistently wise-ass robot. That's what we got.
Yep. What does rhetorically challenged mean?
I'm not actually sure.
Because when I was reading that, I'm like, what does that mean, though? Does that mean he can only be literally insane?
I do not know. Let's Google.
This is the part
and
that
see
broke
if it
me.
helps.
Yeah, that's an odd choice of word.
They have a picture of Hela in here, too, from Ragnarok?
Maybe.
From Thor
They
Ragnarok?
do, yeah, because that's Kate Blanchett, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's who came to mind, too, so I'm guessing we're both right.
Cool. Yeah, it's probably her.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's a person.
Here's the thing, what I don't particularly like is several things. Atlas they've got as an individual rather than a company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lilith is off-planet, then comes onto it to find Roland, who was a mercenary rather than a soldier, and is redeeming himself for something, which is not at all a thing. But it's not like they've changed everyone, because Tiny Tina, a feral preteen demolitionist,
That fits the
That's
bill.
right.
Yeah.
yeah. And then Krieg, for some reason, is her protector, when that's never been a thing. The closest to it was Borderlands fan theory saying, "Oh, Krieg's Tina's dad."
Yeah, I think that's
'cause
fan fiction
masks.
just showing up in the movie. That makes me more worried, if anything. If he's just gripping onto fan fiction too for creating this movie.
This description reads so much like he was explained what Borderlands is by someone who had just skimmed through the wiki page for it, and then he's making a movie based on the description of what that guy half remembers from skimming reading it.
Cool.
Also, Lilith's home planet is Pandora. I'm also wondering about that.
Oh, man. I don't know.
I
It
don't
could
really,
be.
because it was the Doll Corporation that first showed up on Pandora, right? I'm not well versed in the Borderlands lore.
They showed up there. I don't know if there were people there beforehand, but I know the majority of the people and the bandits and stuff are ex-dual what's-its. But I don't know. Oh, there's an end to the synopsis I missed out on.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, these unlikely heroes must battle alien monsters and dangerous bandits to find and protect the missing girl, who may hold the key to unimaginable power. The fate of the universe could be in their hands, but they'll be fighting for something more. Each other.
Friendship.
oh, friendship.
Friendship only applies when we're streaming.
They've been watching the stream.
If they were watching the streams, they'd make something better.
Yeah.
Oh my.
The true
goodness.
Borderlands movie is the live streams every Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Listen to us talk over all the important dialogue.
Oh yeah. There's probably a story in the game, but what matters more is just me abandoning everyone.
And having fun while doing it. I like how our last one was you ending the stream and then me triggering the boss fight.
Yes. For anyone who logged out my stream when I said the stream was over, it wasn't over! Joke's on you!
Got him.
Another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. We had a secret ending to our stream that was an entire boss fight and plot critical movement to a new location.
But that was also why we ended the stream early, was because we couldn't get it to trigger.
Yeah.
And then I died and did it. So, all right. We should hear from the people in the comments what they think of this plot synopsis for the Borderlands movie. Is there a rare few of you that think this is actually going to be good? That's kind of what I want to know. Like, what would make the Borderlands film good?
Oh.
See, I wouldn't want it to be live action. I'd want it to be animated, because then you keep the art style.
Yep.
You can keep a lot of the actors and stuff, and then have it about a different set of Vault Hunters rather than like the main cast. And you can have the main characters and stuff kind of tie in, similar to what Tales from Borderlands did.
Yeah.
Where they'd show up from time to time. But just throwing in the main characters and rewriting half of them whilst keeping the other half the same, and making it a live action thing instead.
Yeah.
It seems like he kind of fantasy footballed his like dream Vault Hunter team too.
Yeah.
Because it's Krieg, Tina, Roland, and Lilith, and Claptrap for
Comedic relief.
Yeah.
Loose comedic relief. I miss Scooter in the continued series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Scooter might end up being in it.
He could be.
This clearly doesn't actually coincide with any Borderlands canon, so
No.
they could have Scooter in. Maybe Scooter will turn out to be Lilith's dad. Why not? Just throw it in. Who cares?
Maybe maybe the missing girl is Ellie. She holds the key to unimaginable power.
Yep. And it's just a car.
Which is under the hood. Like, she knows how to make the fastest ship
Oh.
in the Pandora reaches in the Borderlands.
Well, while the movie continues to suck, there's at least a game which is getting some new content.
Yeah.
Content that is probably going to be better than the movie.
Yep. I can agree with that fully, actually, because there's more context to Ava being a dumb child. And like I watched they uploaded a storyboard of some cut content with Ava dealing with Maya's death and the rest of the team having a funeral that is completely non-existent in the game. That should have been in the game, because that humanizes her character instead of just being a dumb little kid, because that's part of the frustration with her character.
I hate her either way. She's a child.
Yeah. I mean, kids are dumb.
New tip of the day: kids are dumb.
Yep.
People are dumb, but especially kids.
Yep. Especially.
And if there's kids listening, we don't care. We hold by what we say. You know, I've still barely played Borderlands 3.
What?
Out of all the three of them, I played 1 and 2 the most, and then I don't know, for some reason I couldn't get into 3 playing them by myself. So if we ever decide to stream that, I'm definitely down for it. Just saying. I know you guys are sick of it, but the time may come.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of time.
Yeah.
And with all of the director's cut content, we could be like, oh, let's not buy this and just play a base game anyway. Likely be the case. But maybe we decide to buy it. But seeing as I'm pretty sure I got the season pass and now it's on to like season pass 2,
Yeah.
I've just kind of
part
gone,
of that.
no.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed the DLC that came with the first season pass, but I don't want to spend more on the game.
Season pass 2 is $30 right now, so
Yeah.
like I want to play it, but I don't want to, like you said, Jared, I don't want to play it by myself.
Yeah.
And it has stuff in it that's enticing if I had other people to play it with. Like that could bring me back. Kind of like the Borderlands 2 thing. Like, I wanted to play it because it was playing with you guys, not just by myself, going through the same stuff every single time.
Yep.
Going all the way up to Ultimate Vault Hunter mode just to get just steamrolled by everything, even Skags. So,
Yeah. I mean, some players do love just going through the same game over and over again, and that has been proven by Mass Effect players getting the Legendary Edition to go gold!
Nice.
That's how you do a segue, Caedo.
wow.
You punch it in, you make it super clear that we've moved the subject on, and then you acknowledge it afterwards so it becomes meta.
I pass my crown to you, Sarge.
You never took the crown from me.
What were all those encouraging words?
Lies! Lies to build you up so I can crush you back down.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that dose of reality.
No worries.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition went gold. Hey, how about that? May... We moved on from Borderlands.
Sorry.
Get out of here, Steve.
No.
May 14th is when the Mass Effect Legendary Edition comes out. There has been substantial updates to especially the first game, where they actually previewed it and showed it already. And it's ready to ship. That's the official thing as of today, April 10th. It's ready to go. So 1 month from now, with hopefully no issues that can crop up, especially during this time, we will have Mass Effect Legendary in our digital libraries. I had a hovering or lingering question, I guess that works, about doing some tips and tricks I wish I knew for Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. See if anybody would be interested in that. Commenters or whoever, let me know if you're interested in Mass Effect. But the thing about Mass Effect is once you complete the trilogy, you're good for a while.
Yeah, I haven't played it in ages.
Yeah. So we'll see. It doesn't have the replayability of a lot of the games that we talk about. So
yeah.
I would have
the only game you covered on your channel.
What, me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't cover Andromeda.
Yeah, you did. BioWare's Mass Effect Andromeda, Explorers Wanted Contest Entries, Script 1 and 2.
Oh, that's coverage?
That's a video on your channel.
Well, that was me trying to be a voice in the game.
It's got 533 views, Caedo.
It's so good, right?
Hey, don't knock those numbers.
Yeah.
I would love for those kind of numbers.
In the grand scheme of things, though, it's
Yeah.
Less than 0.00% of the total video content that you've uploaded to YouTube, apparently.
Yeah. That's not accurate. Also, I am looking forward to having a full collection of the games and their DLCs together in a single purchase that I can do. Very unlike EA to do something like this.
You don't like that the way it is now, where you can get like 1 and 2 on Steam, but you can only get the third one on Origin?
Yeah, and you still have to buy the DLCs separate?
You don't like that?
No, not.
What's not to love?
Okay, well, playing devil's advocate here, money is nice.
Yeah,
that's it. That's my only point.
Oh, okay.
New tip of the day: money is nice.
Money is nice, aka don't waste it.
Don't be dumb. Don't be a kid.
Don't. We have so many tips of the day now.
Speaking to Mass Effect Legendary, have they released any like screenshots or anything? Like, because my biggest thing about this, like, yeah, it'd be nice to have it all in one collection and stuff, but like, as far as like remasters go, lately,
it's not just a remaster.
It's not just a remaster.
Yeah, they redid a lot of the mechanics in the first game to make it easier to play.
That's what I needed to hear.
Can I link you?
Link me all you want.
I need to. There's a video I watched that was like one of the lead producers or lead developers just showing off the different stuff that they decided to update and change while trying their best to like walk that line of not completely decimating what had been established or what players came to expect. And it was pretty informative, actually, but I don't remember the name of it.
That's fine. I mean, I can always look it up later or whatever. I'm just glad to hear that, actually. Just kind of makes me a little excited, actually, because Mass Effect is always one of my favorite game series, and I always said I wish that they'd remake the first one using like the third one's mechanics and combat and stuff. So
yeah,
it sounds like maybe that's kind of what they're doing.
That's pretty much what they did. They left in the overheat system to stay consistent with the actual progression of technology in the games too. So
cool. Very cool.
Lore nerd stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
FemShep looks the same all the way through. The original skin, instead of like a potato in the first game, which is something that a lot of players appreciated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mass Effect 2 pretty much, set the standard. The first game was good, but 2 set the standard, which is kind of weird, but...
Getting choked up, talk about Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of getting choked up...
You gotta make me leave that in for a segue.
If you make a habit of choking people, you're probably a criminal.
Jeez.
I was just gonna be like, I had an idea for this one, and you just knocked it out of the park.
Please
Thank
do
you.
yours and use it, because that was so stupid.
No, I was like, speaking of stupid kids. So what are we talking about, Jared?
Apparently, if you are a criminal, or if you commit crimes off the platform of Twitch, there is a possibility that you'll be banned from the platform. Mm-hmm. So, don't do crime.
So specifically, harassment, abuse, and other serious misconduct may get you banned from Twitch.
Off-service conduct policy is what it's called. But these are like extreme stuff, like deadly violence and violent extremism, terrorist activities, or recruiting.
Terroristic?
Whoa, dude, that's terroristic!
Yeah.
Sounds like a 90s toy commercial.
Leadership or membership in a known hate group. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's all the kind of stuff, but if you're doing...
Yeah.
It's real bad. Like, don't think that if you've, had one scrap outside a pub in your life, that your Twitch channel's suddenly going to be taken down. Think more like, am I one of the worst people to live on this planet? Oh, I am. Oh no, I'm going to lose my Twitch platform. It's the kind of stuff that you'd imagine people have far worse consequences to suffer than just being banned off Twitch. If the worst thing that happens to you after committing deadly violence is you're not allowed to stream Warzone 24/7, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think this is a good thing, but it's I also keep hearing that there's a lot of issues with people getting banned or non-rightfully, whatever the word is.
Yeah.
Unjustly banned on the Twitch platform and not really having any avenue to pursue to
well, Twitch is notorious for banning people who don't deserve it and allowing people to continue on the platform who should be banned. Yeah. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to actually enforce this.
Mm-hmm.
And just the fallout from that, because they don't really have a good track record as it stands. And this is a pretty serious thing. This is a pretty serious stance, regardless of it being right or not. I think we can all agree that this is, these people shouldn't be anywhere near kids, whether it's online or off. No. But I mean, this is a big deal. To be able to actually enforce. I mean, how are they going to? Because they're not a legal, presence or anything like that. So it's how are they going to prove that some of these people are as bad as they are, unless there's obvious proof on social media and stuff like that.
It would have to be. Criminal records are publicly available. So
that's true. I'm just saying, it's a kind of a big deal for a group that already doesn't really got their own stuff together. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That can be said for anything, not just Twitch, by the way. I don't want to say we're playing favorites here. YouTube has its own share.
Only Twitch.
Only Twitch. Move to YouTube.
I mean, I'm a mixer man myself.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You guys don't use Periscope? Losers.
Oh.
Storyfire. I'm just kidding.
Jeez. How far back can we keep going? I get my music from LimeWire.
VidMe? What's that? Yeah.
Anyways, we're just making ourselves seem old right now.
Yeah, pretty
by continuing to go back.
I lost halfway through. I mean, I'm pretty sure the stuff you guys were talking about was around before I was born.
Let me tell you about something called Napster.
Ooh.
Actually, I don't really know that much about it, but it is old and isn't around anymore. But anyways,
Well, being like the delay it was to join us in adult life, Sarge, Deathloop has been delayed until September. I'd like my crown back, please.
God, I'm pretty sure the crown just fell on the floor and shattered.
oh,
Nothing else really needs to be said about Deathloop. It's an anticipated game. It's the Sony exclusive by Arcane Studios under Bethesda. It's they need more time with Deathloop so Arcane can make another banger for a game.
Yeah, was
Which I'm okay
originally
with.
slated for end of May, which would have been a nice time for it to come out because I feel like there's not that many games right now.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it being delayed till September is a bit of a shame, especially seeing as towards the end of the year tends to be when the bigger games come out as well. So that could hurt it a little bit if there's anything big that comes out. Because I got my fingers crossed for both. I think it's Avowed and spacey Bethesda game. Either of those coming out at the end of this year would be great for my channel. So companies, please pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it is better to have a game release and be working than come out and then get a patch fix later on, which is too long for us to read through, and most people dismiss anyway.
Yeah, and having a unnecessarily long in-universe highlights section where we don't care about the lore of the cops deciding to lay off the player character for a bit. We just want to see what's getting fixed. Follow Bethesda's example in this case, please. It's short paragraphs just describing what's actually happening. Sorry, that was a side tangent.
That's alright. I mean, the Deathloop news is just that. I did want to ask, are either of you two planning on picking up this game, be it when it launches or sometime after?
I'll pick it up. I'll eventually have a PS5.
Yeah,
I
that's.
thought it was coming PC as well.
It might be a delayed release on PC.
Yeah, Deathloop will launch September 14th, 2021 for PC via Steam and the Bethesda Store, and also PS5.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Okay, never mind. Yes, I won't be picking it up.
Is this... So I don't know that much about this game, but is it multiplayer? Could this be something that we all stream?
I don't think it is.
It's single player, I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
screw you guys.
It's like Dishonored.
Okay.
Dishonored's like the closest thing gameplay-wise.
I can't say for sure right now because I know nothing about it. Obviously, it's not on my radar at the moment, but the closer we get to September, I could give you a better answer, probably.
It's like, did you play Prey at all, Jared?
No, I have it.
Okay, all right. So Prey had a Moon Crash DLC, which was kind of alluding to what Deathloop kind of is, like cranking that up to 11.
Okay.
It's taking on similar or the same scenarios while making changes in the timeline as you go. So it's kind of roguelike in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I think describing it as Moon Crash mixed with Dishonored is pretty accurate.
I think you're right, Sarge. That's more like it. And of course it's got the arcane supernatural powers twist that they always put in their games. So
well, it's really gonna depend on a lot of things, probably. I
won't be getting it because I'm sensible with my money, so I'm gonna wait for it to be on sale because I'm probably not gonna cover it.
Well, all right then.
You're saving that money for Warhammer games.
No. Okay, yes, I'm gonna pre-order Total War Warhammer 3, but I actually just got 420 hours in the second game the other day, so
Nice.
I have to pre-order.
How many?
420. Blaze
Dang! I don't even have that much on Valheim yet, and I've been sinking every free minute. Not to get into that before we get to that, but
the one bit where we talk about Valheim.
I know.
And it's your fault.
I'm just like I haven't even got to 300 hours yet. You must really like Warhammer.
We got to get there.
We can talk about all that more.
Yep.
Let's briefly talk about a terrible game first that everyone hates and is letting everyone know they hate it.
Yep.
Call of Duty Warzone.
Duty.
Duty.
He said duty. Wow.
So this was just an interesting little story, because Call of Duty Warzone has a ton of problems, as pretty much any multiplayer game does, but they keep kind of being overlooked, and bugs just stay in the game, and hackers are just prevalent apparently, and there are just so many issues that players have got kind of fed up. And there was a Reddit post by someone saying, hey, change your clan tag to FIXWARZONE, which I think was FIXWZ or FXWZ. Change that to your clan tag, kind of just so people can see and kind of let the developers know, hey, there's a lot of us, we're annoyed about the fact things are broken, and the hashtag FIXWARZONE was trending on Twitter at one point as well. Basically just players coming up with a way to let developers know, hey, things are broken, we're fed up. Because unlike what Bethesda's done with 76, there's not all the feedback things you can do. Which is not so good for an online game.
Not so easy to complain about.
As badly as 76 get put down and stuff, at least they give you like places to properly complain and say what's going on and be like, hey, you need to fix this stuff.
And they have to now because of the public test servers. Like that's part of their development cycle. Which is good. That's a good thing.
I think any game developer that takes an active stance in listening to the gaming community is setting themselves up for success. If they're not doing that, then why are they making games? They're not making them for the people who are playing them.
Or they have a vision and they stick to it.
Well, in certain instances, I'm sure that's true. It doesn't sound like that's the case with Warzone, though.
No.
If their vision is your hand covering your face entirely so you can't see anything after you're done healing, and hackers shooting you through walls from the other side of a map, or flying through the map, or various other bugs and glitches and exploits, if that's the vision of the game, then why did you make a game?
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe I should be like executing that vision the way it's supposed to be played, or something.
Yeah.
Like Valheim, bringing it back.
Can't talk about it.
No. Jeez. The shatter pieces of the Segway crown that were on the floor have now crawled away and are jumping off a nearby cliff.
Oh my goodness.
Well, Valheim's got bosses.
No! God, that's so bad.
There's 5 of them. They're known as the Forsaken.
I'm getting a drink, and then we can carry on.
So how are you going to segue this, Sarge? Since you hate everything about what I just did.
I was figuring I could do some sort of segue where I talk about like how hackers are completely overpowered and ridiculous, and you shouldn't have bosses in a multiplayer game, but there is a place for bosses inside of single-player games, although not everyone likes them.
I like it.
And then we transition that way.
And then we point at Jared.
Yeah. We'll just sit here silently for half an hour pointing at the webcams, which are not on, to let Jared know I'm pointing at him.
Let me know how wrong I am.
Oh.
Well, I didn't say you were wrong. You just said you don't like them.
Oh, I am very well aware of how controversial my opinion is on boss fights. So.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, after last episode where Jared confessed to hating boss fights, the topic this time is what alternatives to boss fights could there be in the Fallout world? Because Fallout does have boss fights technically. They're not telegraphed as much as they are in some other games. One of those games which telegraphs boss fights I'll be talking about later. But in Fallout, there are kind of end bosses. I think New Vegas is a very obvious one where, obviously, Legat Lanius comes up right at the end of the game, and that's like a big figure who's been built up. Like, Fallout 4 has a few instances with, like, Kellogg and the final battle. Even though that tends to be more of a wave fight, it's still got important characters. So, there are instances, even if they're not completely stereotypical of what you might expect from an old-school boss fight.
And there's also Colonel Autumn.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I have this laser pistol. Bam, bam.
So I think that very much clearly states as well that boss fights in Fallout aren't particularly good.
No.
Like, genuinely, the best two boss fights in Fallout, I'm going to say right now, the Master and Big Chungus from Fallout 2.
Frank Horgan.
Big Chungus, yes, as I said. From Fallout 2. Those are the two best boss fights in Fallout entirely.
Yeah.
And I think after that you actually go to 76, which I know I've just got a bunch of people over to my side, so I figure I should kick them now that they're over here and say that 76 is the next game for boss fights being well.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But like you mentioned, Colonel Autumn, I think Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Fallout New Vegas are all very bad for boss fights, and we see this with Colonel Autumn, with Kellogg, with Legate Lanius. Like, you're either fighting just a dude with better stats and some unique equipment, and it's just a completely standard fight other than that, really, but with a tiny bit of plot significance, or you're talking to them because you just ranked up speech a bunch, and you convince them to just wander off because you clicked the speech 100 option like 6 times in a row. Oh wow, how great a player are you? Whoop-de-doo.
Yep.
New Vegas, obviously a terrible game, but that's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
So what about alternatives? Because I do think that the idea of talking to a potential boss that you would fight and convincing them to step down or something like that is good for the Fallout franchise, where charisma and speech and all of that stuff should have some importance to it. New Vegas did a terrible job at it with Lanius, because the New Vegas speech system is not good. I will complain about it in the video that's on my channel next week if anyone wants to hear me talk about that even more. Hey. Oh, there's gonna be so many plugs on this point.
So which are you gonna? Is that like a callback to 76 and how it did it, or?
Are you trying to segue me halfway through my sentence?
I'm sorry.
Caedo, the crown is gone. It's not coming back. Just deal with it.
That was just asking what speech checks you prefer, more so.
Fallout 3 did speech checks pretty well, because it was a combination of the actual speech skill mixed with charisma, which then gave you a percentage chance, meaning you could hit 100% and be guaranteed, but that generally meant you needed reasonable charisma and a fairly high speech skill, and if a test was particularly hard, then you'd need like a really high speech skill and really high charisma, at least meaning you needed a multiplier of 2 of them. I think Fallout 3 did it better than the other games. Because New Vegas was just like, just throw points in here, and once you hit the right thing, you either pass or fail, depending on if you had the number high enough.
I guess I disagree. I like the New Vegas one.
That's just because you're wrong, but it's okay.
So how 76 did it is more, better or worse?
No, 76 is neither. I mean, 76 is essentially the same thing, just with special for the most part.
Yeah.
So, about the same.
I don't know. I personally think it's better to meet a threshold of skill rather than have to save scum.
But you don't have to save scum. You just do that if you can't live with the consequences. And I think having, some interest in there and having it not just be, it's the charisma is the bigger problem. If you also needed high charisma, if, certain checks were hidden in New Vegas, if your charisma wasn't high enough, I'd probably like it more. But instead it is literally, put charisma down to 1, it does not matter, raise speech up to 100, boom, you've just won the game.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
There should have been a more of a charisma tie. I do agree with that. So, anyway, bosses.
Yes, back to what I was talking about before Caedo derailed everything.
I'm sorry, Sarge.
I was
like
going to
conversations.
Yes. Shush, Sarge is talking now. I was going to plug another one of my videos.
Oh my god.
I rewrote Fallout 4 to save Kellogg. Mm-hmm. Because in that, I rewrite the Fallout 4 boss fight with Kellogg. Because initially that is one where you just get to shoot him. But it's important to have multiple options. And I think for a combination of charisma and other stuff, which is I did charisma and levels with that one, you can potentially have a boss fight be de-escalated by talking to them, a reward for high charisma players who maybe aren't so good at combat, which is worth considering. Not everyone's a pro FPS person. You can also have him turn against the Institute, or you can have him fail. I can't actually remember what all my options were. It's a really good video, though. Go watch it if you want an actual coherent synopsis of what went on. But yeah, I think it's important to have multiple options available that suit different playstyles, and don't just force you into, like, very basic options as well. In my rewrite, I had it so Kellogg could potentially become a companion and fight alongside you to destroy the remaining parts of the Institute, providing you made the right checks and did the right stuff. Similarly, in, like, Fallout 2, you have several different options of, like, turning on turrets, having people turn against one another. In the first Fallout, you can talk to the Master, and if you've learnt the right kind of information, you can get a self-destruct sequence. There needs to be these multiple options which actually take into account what you're trying to achieve from your playthrough, and what is a viable solution outside of just shooting or having a high skill.
Yes. I like having the option of, I don't think the science skill has got enough, or science or repair skills have been given enough of a chance in the newer games.
Yeah.
For boss checks of different kinds. I want to use Deus Ex, the Human Revolution, as an example. When they did their director's cut, they specifically included different ways to approach bosses that weren't just a head-on fight, in case you were specializing in hacking or basically anything besides head-on combat. So, like you were saying with the Horrigan fight in Fallout 2, you can activate the turrets, and that makes him so much easier if you have a high enough science skill.
Yeah.
I would want to see something like that, but a lot more involved. I know Jared doesn't like hacker minigames, but some kind of hacking something or other where you can see the results of your hacks in real time, like behind the screen or something.
I think the key point here is just having several different alternative ways to kind of skip around, or at least make the boss fight easier, depending on what kind of playstyle you go for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. FF7 Remake does that as well with Airbuster. You're climbing this tower to get up, or climbing this reactor to blow it up, because that's Final Fantasy VII's first game remake thing. But as you're climbing up the second reactor you go to destroy, you are eventually going to fight Airbuster, which is like their defense system robot for that area. And as you're climbing, you can get to different terminals and find different key cards to move resources that are being sent to Airbuster to buff him up. So essentially, you are debuffing the boss in different ways as you're going up, and you get to choose what his special attacks are, and how to prevent or ways to prevent certain ones from hitting your party. So that is really cool. I want to see more of that in, like, boss things, like some way to cripple them before your actual encounter, because I'm sure there would have been so many ways if Obsidian even thought about that, or something like that for the Lanius fight, because you're building up to this fight the entire time. You hear rumors about him and stuff like that. Like, there could have been something like that in Fallout New Vegas.
I mean, in most of the Fallout games, I feel like you can manage that. Like, we mentioned Colonel Autumn in a very jokey fashion, but he's a character who you actually have some interaction with before the final fight.
Yeah.
So even if it's like speech options or certain other things you could do to change the outcome at the end, would have been great, and should have been easier to implement than even with Lanius, who's just a one-and-done guy.
Yeah. Like, if you could have turned the tables on Autumn and, like, knocked him out with a concussion grenade and then just, like, interrogate him. Be like, that's a boss fight.
It's an alternative to a boss fight. I think that's important. We don't need to be fighting all these bosses.
Yeah.
Say what?
Right, Jared?
Say what?
So, Jared, when you get to the end of a game, what do you want to happen rather than fighting a boss?
Well, I would like to preface this first with saying that there are certain circumstances where bosses are acceptable. I cannot think of a specific instance at this moment because I didn't really have time to think about this because I didn't know this was going to be our topic till today. But I know they exist. Well, a good example would be like, and I'm going to reference something other than Fallout because it's the only thing I can connect to, but like Shadow of the Colossus. is a game. It is only bosses, but they're huge and it's epic, and the storytelling is gripping and is emotional. And I think for me, as someone who doesn't have time to get good, as some people would, is what I always hear from people when I tell them I don't like boss fights. Get good. It's like, I don't have time to get good. I'm not going to spend 100 hours on a game learning a boss's patterns and repetition. To me, that's boring.
Yeah.
For me, I just like good storytelling. There are instances where a game can grip you emotionally, and I think that is an exceptional hallmark of a good game. Boss fights to me, and it's like we were saying earlier, it's like Fallout with boss fights. I don't really have anything to complain about because I don't know, the boss fights, like you said, you guys talked about, the boss fights in Fallout aren't really like traditional boss fights, I guess. They're a little lackluster, maybe, in a lot of instances.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, like, what would I like at the end of a game? I would like good writing. I don't like boss fights to replace good writing or creative ideas or different way, critical thinking or anything like that. To me, that's what a boss fight is a lack of creativity. It's replacing storytelling and creativity with pattern recognition and repetition, which to me is just not that interesting. To me, it's just boring, I guess, is what it comes down to. I like a good story. I like to have an emotional response because it's really hard to get that, especially in video games.
Yeah.
So for me, give me a good story. Give me a good ending. I want to know that, what I did was worth it, and you can tell me that through a good story. That's my answer.
All right.
I can respect that. I will say, just as a small little addition to that boss fights at the end of a game and a good narrative ending are not mutually exclusive. I can definitely think of several examples where they do fit in well with one another. I'm going to say it just because it'll make Caedo happy, but Hades is a good example of this.
Yeah!
Where you end with a boss fight and it has narrative payoff at the same time. So it's possible to do both. I definitely do think you've hit a strong point there with having narrative as a focus. Because if you do just focus on the boss fight and then be like, hey, you beat the boss, good job. It's almost like an old school action movie where it's like, you shot the criminal, well done, movie's over.
Exactly.
It's fine. And if you like that kind of stuff, yeah, it's good, but you don't remember the endings of the action movie so much as you do those that had real emotional weight and stuck with you for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about Lord of the Rings. There's no big epic fight with Sauron in the end.
I mean, there is, but it's like half an hour before the end as well.
Whatever.
Lord of the Rings had a very long ending. Like,
it had a long ending, but it didn't have a proper boss fight. Not really.
No.
Like, if I was playing a game of Lord of the Rings, at the end, you don't go head-to-head with freaking Sauron. You drop the ring in, bada bing, bada boom, everyone runs away.
The funny thing is, so many of the video games do end up with a head-to-head with Sauron.
You're right. And it always annoyed the crap out of me.
Wait. Wasn't it a mini-boss fight with Gollum?
I mean, it depends on your definition of boss fight in that. They wrestled around. I mean, if we're talking about the movie, I don't remember the books as much as I would care to admit, but
Frodo took a couple hit points of damage.
He lost a finger. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Talking
That's
about
a couple hit points.
Talking about the fate of the realm, bruh.
And then he got an environmental kill, which is bonus experience.
And then he got to go to live in paradise. Come on. Or whatever you would consider the Undying Lands. I guess it's a paradise.
Just anywhere outside of England, according to Tolkien.
That's funny. Yeah. So what other alternatives could we have for boss fights besides some sort of narrative payoff? Like, I'm thinking mechanically.
You see, that's the hard thing to try to think of because all we ever get is a boss fight at the end of a game. Like, it's hard to think of what else there is because nothing else ever gets done.
Or what to make them less bullcrap. Because I know for a fact that you guys know what bullcrap is in a boss fight. Yeah.
I don't like...
I have... What, Jared?
I was going to say, I don't like the rule of 3 in a boss fight. You do the pattern, You do the dodge, you hit him, you do that 3 times, you win. Nintendo's notorious for their boss fights like that.
I think Nintendo pioneered it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. Again, to me, that's just lazy. And it doesn't really make sense. Like, I mean, if you are in a situation where you're fighting, you know, some big, powerful bad, I mean, he's not going to probably be, he or she or whatever, they're not going to be regulated to just being hit 3 times. To me, that's just, I don't know, too machine or too predictable, and it shouldn't be predictable.
The more you talk about this, the more I think we should try Monster Hunter World, so you have more experience with good design when it comes to this kind of stuff.
I'm down to play Monster Hunter World. Like I've said, like the only reason I didn't play that is because I don't play it alone. I play it with other people. I'm down to Monster Hunt.
Like good design in the gameplay, but really bad organization in the menus.
Yeah.
Like there's pros and cons, but World is really good. What is frick, I just lost it. Did you have more you wanted to add to your thing?
Me? No, I think I
was just gonna say, because I've just looked through, I've got like a little category in Steam of I beat this, which is just like a bunch of the games I've beat recently. And the only one that stands out to me with an ending that isn't a boss fight or something akin to a boss fight is Talisman Digital Edition, which is basically just a board game where you make it to the center of a board after like this really tough journey, and then you just roll a dice until you win, basically. But I think literally just making it to your endpoint can be a satisfying victory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't necessarily need something huge to top it off with, like this huge boss fight. You've just gone for a grueling journey that's taken tens, dozens, maybe even hundreds of hours, depending on how long you've been playing for. Just making it to the end, there's reward in that on its own. If the journey was good enough, you don't necessarily need something to top it off.
Yeah,
nice.
That's a good point.
Nicely said.
I think Bastion does that actually. While Hades is amazing, another one of Supergiant's games is Bastion, and the ending is kind of like that. You get an actual, I think it's a binary decision between fighting everything on your way out or saving your enemy and carrying him out with you. And if you do that, basically all of the enemies that are supposed to be shooting you on your normal escape, they just stop. And they watch you the entire time. And that, man, I get chills thinking about it right now. Because that's, even though it's so simple on paper, it has a much different feeling than just, full-on revenge kind of thing.
I feel like an ending like that is made more effective by the fact that you expect perhaps a difficult boss battle or whatever, but in return for your choices or your consequences for your choices, you get to walk out of there, and it's an emotional experience.
Yeah,
because it's unexpected.
They don't start with not shooting at you too. Like, you are taking damage as you're carrying him, and you're just like, oh no. So they make it stressful right at the beginning of it too. But for those that are, more against, boss fights or a final confrontation or something like that, like the option was in there for doing something a lot more passively.
I do like that.
Yeah. So I did like that part a lot. There was something else that came to mind that was a bit obscure, but now I can't think of it. Oh, mechanics that are bullcrap. I want to go back to that point really quick because I want to complain about Lanius and then somehow try to make it more better. So if you decide to speech Lanius, I think you need to just have a 100 speech to get him to back down. However, if you decide to fight him, and again, this is another binary choice when you get to that point of the game. When you decide to fight him, he is in any difficulty besides normal. He is just a gigantic bullet sponge.
Yeah.
Who has a weapon that has knockdown and multiple legionaries that will come to his assistance at like mid health or something like that. So he does have some boss mechanics. Like at a certain health threshold, he will actually run away and then all of his legionaries will come in. but then he attacks you too. And then if he knocks you down, you're just dead. So it doesn't really give you the option of using the combat style that you decided to go with. Like if you're trying to do melee during that fight, it's gonna go so horribly.
Yeah.
I think Stonewall can help you with knockdown, which is one of the perks. But if you didn't take that perk because you didn't know that Lanius was going to have innate knockdown on his weapon, you're still screwed. Blocking doesn't matter. You'll still get knocked down. That's the kind of bullcrap I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I think when I was playing the Buckaroo character on very hardcore, it took multiple tries with the ability to knock down too with my my shotgun. It took such a long time for that fight. But the most I can think of is just adding more mechanics that makes the boss able to at least time blocks or something like that instead of just being a sponge. I think that's like the biggest offender for any frustrations in boss fights is just an unnecessary health pool.
Mm-hmm.
Or like extra long immunity phases.
Yeah.
And also just options and preparation. I think I'll still go back to that one. If there's ways to prepare for the boss fight to give you an edge or an advantage, weaken them in some way, or like if you're allied with the boomers during that fight, as an example, if you're allied with the boomers, you could be like, don't carpet bomb the dam. Carpet bomb is camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
it does
like
always bug me a little bit that the stuff you get to do in New Vegas, which helps you out at the end, helps you out in like really minor ways when you get down
so
to
minor.
it. Like
Yeah.
it's hours and hours and hours of prep to save you like maybe a minute or two worth of fighting at the end.
Yeah.
It's
And it has no effect on the actual boss fight itself. Just the fights up to it, which they don't really hard. It's just a lot of generic foot soldiers coming at you. They don't even have faces.
And don't you have like an infinite supply of your own soldiers pretty much anyway?
Yeah.
Like they just keep on coming. So
Yep.
if you're patient, you can literally just stand at the end and wait for the NCR to kill all the legionaries and then walk through.
Yeah. But unfortunately, at the very end, the only passive option is 100 speech. And then, otherwise you're just gonna have a fight and be knocked down and die.
Man, New Vegas sucks.
Yeah, New Vegas is terrible. I mean, well, we could go to Colonel Autumn's case too. Like his boss fight's bullcrap on his side. Like, there's literally nothing to it. It's just two Enclave soldiers in Tesla armor, the things you've been fighting the entire game, and Colonel Autumn wearing just his jacket.
Pretty cool.
That has
jacket.
no protection. I don't even know if he has much HP. He's
not particularly tough.
Not tough at all. Also, why? Like, he could have had some really awesome power armor.
Yeah.
But would that
He's basically just a speed bump at the end.
Yeah.
he doesn't
pretty
really
much.
seem. He kind of seems like the bureaucratic soldier. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It would be to me. It wouldn't have made sense for him to be in power armor because he's like fresh out of West Point. Has no experience. Maybe very kind of like green. That's the way he always came across to me. Anyways, I kind of.
Well,
I actually kind of like the way it is because again, you expect a big boss fight, and it's just some pencil pusher. I like the unexpected.
He's Eden's second in command. He must have climbed the ranks somehow besides just being
I mean, yeah, I suppose.
an entry-level greenbeard. Like,
Maybe
I mean,
he's
you
just a
can
really
climb
good
the
kid.
ranks just through scheming and diplomacy and stuff.
Yeah.
he could have.
Like,
Man, now that makes you think then, because if he went to command soldiers firsthand in a war zone, why wouldn't he have more protection?
Maybe
Like, he already knew the
Hubers?
force that the Brotherhood had.
maybe Hubers. Maybe he was just arrogant and You know, they are
could be that.
America. You know, they are the ones that are going to save everything, and you know we're better than everyone. Like I don't need no help.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Okay, I've just thought you get captured by the Enclave. I think what would be even better is maybe he does have some great armor and stuff, but when you're walking through the Enclave place, maybe you can just like go to where his chambers are and whatever and just steal his stuff. And then he doesn't have it.
Like, oh, this is a neat bobblehead. What's behind this force field? Oh.
Neato.
Just have it be like something that's difficult to steal, but maybe you can... Because one thing I've always wanted is for there to be actual consequences to the stealing mechanic in Fallout.
Or to sabotage it.
Yeah.
Like sabotage his power armor.
But I will say, with stealing in Fallout, you take stuff, and it never matters that you actually take it. It's just something for you to sell or to use.
But karma.
Okay, karma can be done better. I'll explain it in the next video. But for the time being, screw karma. I want it to actually be the case, where if you go into a merchant's shop, steal all their inventory when they're not looking, then like a week or two later, they shut down, then there's no longer that merchant, and all of that other stuff. Well, I should probably save this for another topic. Hey, let us know in the comments, do you want us to talk about like how stealing could be better in Fallout? Because I have a lot of ideas.
How about just underused skills?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? Because repair is super underused.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's save that for the next thing. How Autumn could have been better. Okay, first of all, the Jefferson Memorial is not a boss arena. It is the worst arena for a boss fight.
It's such a small space.
I definitely would have preferred fighting him in the room before that. Maybe having some sort of what kind of technology did the Enclave have?
Pew pew pew.
They had pew pew. They had Tesla armor. They had different.
Plasma?
They had turret setups. They had plasma.
Yeah, a lot of plasma stuff.
I could imagine like Tesla coils and some sort of hide and seek type of thing with Colonel Autumn. I wonder if that would be something pretty interesting. Or if you have a high enough science skill, you just turn them off.
Or turn them against him.
Or turn them against him.
Yep.
Yeah. He could just like run into the Tesla coils thinking they're going to turn off, and then they turn on immediately and just kill him.
Take that.
That'd be pretty cool. Or same thing with the turrets. I think in Fallout 4, like it seemed like they tried to make it so like more easily available to activate turrets, but still on regular occasions I only find the terminals for turrets after everything's dead.
Like, oh.
So
yeah.
I wonder like if there was a perk for the science skill, like see the turret terminals through walls or something like that. Something to make science more viable for like avoiding combat altogether or finding ways to get assistance in combat. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Because even in the Horgan chamber, you need to like skirt across the walls to not aggro him. And get to the terminal instead of I think the holotape system for some of the like hacking stuff you could do in Fallout 4 too was also like an underused thing, because you could, as far as I remember, you could hack robots long range with your Pip-Boy. If you had the hacker magazine thing.
I mean, you can unintentionally do that in Fallout 4 sometimes. So clearly that's an old mechanic they brought back. Hey, go Bethesda!
Oh, yes.
Totally wasn't a bug. It was a feature all along.
Yeah. I don't have any more bullcrap that comes to mind for boss fights. I'm sure there's more though.
I think we hit the nail on the head fairly early on with you need it to be more than just straight up fight. There needs to be different routes you can take with it. Or just have a narrative ending to pay off if the boss fight itself isn't going to be a good enough ending.
Different payoffs for different players, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense, and I very much prefer that too. Or you could be like the Hades devs and just set up a God mode feature just automatically, no cheat codes required. It's just a box you check, and then if you want to just experience the story and go through the dungeons with very little resistance, that makes you more powerful the more you die, then do that. You'll experience the story a lot more quickly than other people. Supergiant's so good.
I'll take it that means you've just been playing tons of Supergiant games all the past couple of weeks, then?
No. I haven't. Since we're on to what we've been working on and playing on, before that, I want to ask anybody in the comments, I was going to say chat, that is thinking about different alternatives to boss fights for those who don't really like boss fights, or just mechanics you would add to previous Fallout boss fights to actually make them better instead of just sponging them up. But now, what are we playing / working on? I've been working on a extremely long list of games for Fallout fans, which might be divided into multiple videos to like RPGs for Fallout fans, or first-person games for Fallout fans, action games for Fallout. I'm not sure yet.
Are they going to be like top 5 lists?
It might be countdowns. Might be some Caedo's countdowns for Fallout fans. Just playing different games that I sorted by post-apocalyptic as genre, trying to avoid zombie games because that's a whole genre on its own. But I started with Paradise Lost because it's a fairly short narrative game experience. It's first person, similar to the Metro series, but a lot less shooty. Like no guns. You're walking around as a kid in this abandoned bunker. And it's really awesome. I do recommend it. So that's gonna end up on my video, but it was a nice and short, which I like.
I was gonna ask you about that one because I actually just bought that. I was thinking about streaming it if it was any good.
Yeah, I recommend that actually.
Okay.
There is about I think about half of it is reading though. If you're cool with that.
I do a lot of that.
Okay. Because there's some documents that aren't they are overly long. I complain about that for the next one, actually. The other game that I've been playing a lot and that has a lot more playtime to it and a lot more bullcrap is Atom RPG. It took me quite a few hours, like tens of hours, to actually start enjoying the game. Not a good sign for me.
No.
However, the reason that I wasn't enjoying certain aspects of it more is because of the RNG. There is some RNG that is simply like, you will enjoy it more if you get this encounter, or which I don't like. I don't like that in a game because I couldn't find armor. My dude was running around in a tank top the whole time as a melee dude and just getting gunned down repeatedly by like bandit groups and slavers and stuff like that. I'm like, where the frick do I get armor? It took me going to the biggest city on the map to actually find an armor vendor, but he was within the walls where they have crooked guards who charge you 1,000 rubles to actually get in. How do I get 1,000 rubles if I can't kill anything? So it was this weird challenge loop of, oh, you need money, but you can't get money because you can't kill much. And like, I was just stuck there for a while. But then after I did finally get one set of armor, then I was able to fight pretty much everything at that level. I also found out that vendors are kind of level locked, so your level kind of determines what kind of stuff they'll have available.
Okay.
Which would have been nice to know also. But still, only in the main city were they selling armor, and it's bullcrap. But beyond that, it's an homage to the classic Fallout games and Deus Ex and Wasteland and other stuff like that. And if you've played any of those games, you will see their DNA in the game. It is so almost trying to be a cosplay of the classic Fallout games. Like it's even the interface is reminiscent. Yeah. But that's not a bad thing. It's a love letter to these games. I want to make sure that that's clear too. Speaking of love, they put a lot of extra love and care into the unarmed or martial arts skill, as it's called in this game. And as you know, I love playing hand-to-hand characters. So this made me extremely happy when I got my martial arts skill up to 120 and I could combo on people. And with a full animation and everything, with both punches and kicks. And I'm just like, yes, I like this a lot. Had a dude I hadn't talked to in a while contact me about playing Worms Armageddon. We couldn't get that to work because the game is so gosh dang old. So even though it's amazing, right? Worms WMD is like what I consider to be the true, I think, of the recent Worms games to be close to Armageddon. And it's even got its own classic settings. So it'd be like, oh, I'm an Armageddon player. You just set it to classic mode, and then it's like default Armageddon settings. So there's no vehicles or anything like that. Just, just Worms. Man, it's fun. Among the other Fallout-like games I played was Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. The game didn't really grip me. I know a lot of people that's going to be disappointing to hear. But I don't think Stalker's my jam. I enjoyed exploring the world for as little as I could until I found a military barricade that I was intimidated by, and then decided not to do anything else. Because I think I talked to one of the patrons, Goose, about it. I was like, what do I do when I need to get past the train tracks, and there's just like 6 military dudes with much better gear than me just standing around. He's like, nah, you just gotta use grenades on them. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna get shot a lot and die all the time. So I don't know. That it didn't seem like my kind of ideal thing. It's got like this pseudo RPG thing going on, which I don't fully understand yet. Immersive sim, maybe? I think it's a lot closer to an immersive sim, but has open world areas. I still don't quite know what to call it. Stalker. I don't know. And I played Hades on stream yesterday, and we also played Google Maps.
Yes.
Anyway, that's all I did. I did a lot of stuff. Oh, the highlights. Should talk about the Borderlands highlights. We have like five episodes of those now.
Yep. You can get all caught up and totally understand all of the in-jokes.
Yep. Or you can go to Sarge's channel, watch all the VODs.
Oh, there's so many of them.
Oh wait, are they public or are they unlisted?
They're unlisted.
Well, frick.
But there's a playlist of all my past live streams.
Oh, okay.
So they're not like hidden. They just don't show up in the uploads.
Right. Okay.
And there's all of the links on my Twitter. If you just search Borderlands, then you'll find all the links as well. They've been posting Caedo's Discord. They're around. They're certainly not impossible to find.
Yeah. Should we plug our Discords?
Descriptions. Check them out. There you go.
So Sarge, what else have you been doing?
Well, as well as Borderlands 2, which we're on the DLC of now, I have started streaming Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
I'm streaming it Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 PM UK time. And the Tuesday stream, where I started it off, I beat the first 2 bosses without dying, which was incredible, because I suck at third-person games, and Dark Souls is notoriously quite hard too.
Very unlike Dark Souls, yes.
Yeah, I beat the first 2 bosses, I did not die to them. The first boss I had fought before and won against, so he I was used to, but the second boss I don't think I'd ever encountered. And on the second stream, I've been exploring this whole new area, and I met a new boss who I died to like 4 times in a row. So, yeah, second stream didn't go as well. But on Tuesday, I'll be attempting maybe the same boss again, although right at the very end of the stream I was told, hey, that's an optional boss. So, maybe I'll just wander around and acknowledge the fact that I'm completely lost and have no idea what I'm doing. But it's fine, because everyone in Dark Souls knows exactly what they're doing and exactly how I should play it, and it's the way they're playing, why am I playing the same way as them? Come on!
Yeah. Just play like the meta, Sarge.
Yeah, play like the meta being what I as an individual am doing, which is contrary to what every other player in chat is staying to do, because everyone has their own individual thing. That's a big thing with the Dark Souls community. Every single person knows exactly how you should play the game, which is their way. And their way is not like anyone else's way, but your own way is always the right way. Doesn't matter that the game could be beat like 100 different ways in 100 different builds. You gotta do it with my build.
Oh yeah. A lot of actuallys there.
Yeah. While I've not wanted to be shamed for how I play, I've also been jumping into the single player Total War Warhammer 2 and playing that just however I please, because that's how I like to play.
Yeah, as you should.
That's basically it for me. Jared?
Well, I've
Wonder what this could be.
been playing Valheim.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that game before.
I live
What could that be?
Valheim. I breathe Valheim. Strangely enough, I've not done any like content for it. Like, I'm just playing it for me. I mean,
Which is okay.
I thought about streaming it, or I've talked to a buddy of mine about maybe doing a thing, but like, I'm just been playing it. I mean, I've got 250 hours into it.
Pretty good.
And yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I just started
That's important.
working on my mountain fortress, which is coming along nicely. Lots of stone. If you know Valheim, you know that struggle. Yeah, that's it.
Sweet.
I've played nothing else. I've thought about playing other things. Forced myself to stop playing Valheim and then look through my Steam library for hours on end. And then going back to Valheim. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Looking forward to playing some Borderlands on Sunday.
Yep.
Because I actually thoroughly enjoy streaming with you guys. And if those who are listening, again, we're going to say it again. If you haven't, you should watch it because it's amazing. We're hilarious.
And if you're watching right after this one up, why aren't you there already?
Yeah.
Honestly, because that would be an hour ago if we're staying on the same schedule. So, yeah, this can stay up forever, but the live streams, they're limited time.
Yeah. They vanish into the ether.
There it is. If you have any feedback or comments or whatever about the things that we talked about today, leave them down below. Even if you have some dad jokes or safety tips or maybe suggestions for tips of the day that we couldn't stop talking about.
Unless you're a kid, keep your mouth shut. We don't want to hear from you.
Just grow up.
Just grow up already.
Let's hurry up. Be an adult. It's so easy.
Actually, on second thought, don't be so quick to do that. That's not all it's cracked out to be sometimes. No, if you are young and listening, we don't actually hate you. Sarge might actually, but keep listening and subscribe and like and share.
Yep. Goodbye, everyone. Be safe.
Oh my God.